Welcome back to the Punk Lounge. It's another episode of Rachel Plus One, where I take you behind the scenes and beyond the stage. Today, we are in Newark Airport because we are about to get on a plane to go to Iceland to explore the Icelandic punk rock scene. So, come along, you guys. I got a plane to catch, and we'll see you in Reykjavik. Bye.
You think you're so clever, cause your business face is good. You're still living with your mama, you can't afford to break the rules. It's easy to talk about anarchy when you got a place to hide. It's easy to be a communist when there's pay for the right.
Hey guys, I'm in my hotel in Reykjavik. I'm headed out in a minute to go downtown to go to the Punk Museum and bring you guys with me. But I wanted to stop for a minute and just kind of give you why the heck are we here? What's my connection to this place? Last year, 2017 January, I went to Iceland for the first time. I had never been. I knew absolutely nothing about it. My husband wanted to go. I'm kind of up to travel anywhere. And I knew about the Northern Lights and I knew who Bjork was, and that was about it. So we came, did the usual stuff you do when you come here, the Blue Lagoon, the geysers, looked at the Icelandic horses, the Golden Circle, Continental Divide, all that stuff. And the nature here is amazing. It's like something out of a movie, or part lunar landing, part crazy, beautiful nature. And that stuff is amazing, don't get me wrong, but I am the type of person that is more comfortable sitting on a bar stool, having a cider, watching a band. So whenever I get into a new city, I look up, punk record stores, shows, anything that's going on. And I found this place called the Icelandic Punk Museum. It was sort of like, what the hell is that? I was like, we have to check that out. So we went, it's kind of in the center of town, but it's hidden. It's in what used to be an old public toilet. So we went, it was amazing. One of the big bands from the 70s here called Q4U, the bass player just popped in and was hanging out, so we started talking to him. Stayed in touch over this past year and kind of became friendly, and we're going to go see him today, kind of ask him about the scene, get some of his history. But what was really cool was that all this music was brand new and fresh to me. I knew kind of so much about, 77 era punk, which is my favorite, and what was happening in New York or, London. But all this other stuff was happening in the 70s and 80s in Iceland that I knew nothing about. So it was, finding this really fresh, exciting, pocket of music that I could explore. And when I came back and talked to people, not a lot of people knew about it either. So I think this will be fun to go along, kind of learn about with me and see what it's all about. So I'm gonna put my shoes on, get dressed, and I will see you downtown.
Society, and we're here in Reykjavik at the Icelandic Punk Museum, and we're going to go down there and say hello to Gunnthor. Just so you know, this used to be a public toilet. See? Water closet. No water closet. Now it's a punk museum. Come on down. How you doing? We're here at the Icelandic Punk Rock Museum in Reykjavik, Iceland, and we're here with.
We have with us.
We have Gunnthor.
Gunnthor.
I'm going to murder every name I say. I wanted to ask you a couple questions before we walk around. I'm really familiar with punk from England and from New York. You were part of the original scene here.
Yeah.
And what was it like? Tell me what year you got into punk, just how you got into it, what the scene was like. Where did you?
I saw. I'm from the glam rock age. I'm born in 1960, So I was really into glam rock. And then one fine day I went to a club called The Club.
That's an easy enough name.
Yeah, and there was an Icelandic band called Fræbbblarnir. They were kind of like the first, they're like our Sex Pistols. They were playing, there was this dead silence after each song, and then the singer said, if you don't clap, we take one more song. And everybody clapped like they were mad. Then he said, since you're clapping so much, we're going to take 6 more songs. And people were throwing chairs and glasses and everything at them. Then after that, I started to follow them around.
These bands have records out, or was it?
Very difficult. Usually we, like, at first we were just tapes. People recording tapes and passing them around.
And how much punk from other countries did you guys get that was an influence on you?
There's like England and USA.
And how would you get records?
It's like if someone went abroad, because the mainstream record stores here sold just this regular crap. But I remember one of our friends, he went to England and he got Nevermind the Bollocks, and we just passed it around for ages.
Like the Bible.
Yeah, like the Bible.
So I read that the first punk band that came here was the Stranglers in '78.
Yeah, I was there.
And that was 2% of the population when it was like what was that like being at that show versus what you had experienced?
It was like a punch in the balls, kick in the balls. It's like, wow, what's going on? And they were so different from everybody else that's been around. Usually, courses like that, they were the stars and the people, but they were like on the same level. They invited us to come up on stage. The bass player took the hat of one of the police guys, put it on the ear, didn't know what to do. They were all standing around with cotton in their ears, sticking out. Couldn't hear anything. I was there for 4 days.
And at one point, so you're going to these shows. At what point did you decide I want to do my own band?
Well, I started out as a roadie for the Fræbbblarnir, or the first band. Then I went to the Outsiders, and after a while I said, "Fuck this! I'm going to start my own band."
And the Outsiders, they came second, but they kind of in popularity became
they were huge,
like Iggy Pop type of front band.
Yeah, Old Muscle.
Yeah. And so how did you get your band together? Because you had girls and boys in your band.
Because we had this enormous PA, the only PA that was around, and we were renting it around, and there was a band that was supposed to show up. They didn't show up, so I said, okay, let's make a band. Just on the spot. I play the bass, I want to be Sid Vicious.
You definitely look the part.
Yeah, and you play the drums, and you play this, and we went on stage and played for about half an hour, and it sounded actually really horrible.
And you guys ended up putting a record out eventually. And then what did you guys do after that first crazy show?
And then we played 11 times live before we ever rehearsed. It was like sticking your head into an afterburner of a jet feather. Everybody came up with a perm. Green one.
And there's a famous movie from around that time, Rockin' Reykjavik. You guys were in it, and that's become kind of like a classic.
Yeah, the cosplay.
And how did you get involved in that movie?
Well, the guy who made that movie was going to make a documentary about the Outsiders, but then the Outsiders broke up just before that. But then he started to go around into all these practice places, pick up the Iceland band. There was like Björk and what we called Tíkaris back then, and Q4U and Fræbbblarnir and Joni. So it was really a great time.
And what would you say was the best year for punk rock in Iceland?
It's like when that explosion came from 1980, early 1980, because the punk came a little late here because we got forgotten in the middle of the Atlantic for around 600 years. We were just doing this for 600 years. And then suddenly, boom!
And there was a famous Clash show, 1980s, a Clash show here. Were you at that show?
Oh yeah.
How was it?
They were really, then they were really at the top.
They were touring for London.
Yeah.
That must have been
Excellent.
I can only imagine how good.
And they had the same attitude, They were just one of the crowd.
And now, what is the scene like now, would you say?
It's like every generation has its own punk.
Are there clubs? Are there a lot of shows that go on?
Yeah. But now it's more like everything is on. It's not like not all the bands are playing the same three chords. Now it's more like hip hop, Viking metal, death metal, gothic, But it's still a pretty good scene.
Is there a band that you like now that's going on in the area that you would tell people to check out? Legend?
Yeah.
And a classic band, what would you, if somebody had never heard Icelandic punk rock, besides your own, obviously, what's an album that you would tell them this?
The first album by Fræbbblarnir. They were like our Sex Pistols. They came and they just knocked it all down. They one time they had a big, meeting, and then they delivered themselves a gold single for the first 10 sold copies. Just to piss the other ones off.
And now, taking us back to this place, the Punk Museum opened in 2016, November?
Yeah, it's been open about 13 months.
So how did this even come about? How did it go from a toilet to the place we have now?
There's some mystery guy working deep inside the system that kind of like gave us the signal, or some people the signal. This place was vacant because it had been closed for many years. And so somebody put, I have an idea, and then it turned on into this punk museum.
So is this independently run, or does the government give you guys?
Well, the city owns the spot.
Which is crazy because in the U.S. the city would never say, let's have a punk museum.
Never say never, you never know.
You've never been in Philadelphia. They try to shut
Isn't that where the Liberty Bell is?
Yeah. So when this opened, Johnny Rotten came as the opening ceremonies.
Yeah.
How was it meeting him?
When he came walking down the stairs, I was just like Justin Bieber concert. I couldn't utter a word. I couldn't say a word. He saw that and he ripped a piece of paper or a guest book, wrote something down, and it says, I'm Johnny Rotten and you're not. Ha ha ha. That broke the ice, but I couldn't talk because I had been waiting for him for over 30 years.
And how did you get involved in this place?
I just came here one day and there was a bunch of people here and they were asking about this and that, and I was this, and somebody asked, why aren't you working here? And I asked the guy who was working, why aren't I working here? And the next day I was working here. And I don't even know if I'm working here or not.
So you're working here today because now you're going to show us around. So thank you for talking to us. Can you do a little tour for us and kind of show everybody around? Okay, let's go do that. Okay. I am here to visit the Punk Museum, and I am with the best tour guide who's going to show me around, explain everything to my...
Okay, it starts at the door. 874. The Vikings came here to avoid taxes and stuff in Norway, so we came here. They did kind of like this, like that, kind of gay looking, but they came here and a bunch of Irish monks here doing their thing, but we took their heads off because they were, we were Viking faith and...
Off with their heads?
Yes. It's the Viking way.
The beginning.
The beginning. When they come in here, nothing really happened here until like World War I, World War II. We had been, just collecting hay for 600 years and taking care of sheep. You can see the Americans, when they came and occupied us, first the British came, then the Americans, they came with records, they came with all kinds of stuff that we didn't even heard of. Like Coca-Cola, mines, bombs, and nice airplanes like the B-17, and all kinds of stuff. And here you can see how it was, Led Zeppelin came here, and then we had the American Forces Radio, that had a lot of influence also. We didn't have a TV here until 1968. 1968. I hadn't seen TV until I was around 8, and then we started to get, American Forces Radio, both the radio and the TV. And there I heard, when I was having my, youth crisis, there was a show called King Biscuit Flower Hour, and I could hear rock, rock, rock away beats, and I said, I can do that. And the rest is history. Let's move on. 1974, it was like, the scene here was like all the same people were in the same band, everybody were friends, but the music really did suck. But then, 1978, Stranglers came here, and they really blew us apart. And that was really the first punk thing around here. You can see how people are here, how they are dressed and how they look. We all look like we're doing a Smokey concert, and the next year everybody had a mohawk. Icelanders are like that. We do things very fast.
So talk about the Clash there too.
Yeah. They came here, and when they were promoting London Calling, and this is one of the best gigs I've ever seen. But here you can also see Fræbbblarnir. Those are like our pistols. They are really the first. They opened the door, and everybody else walked in. This is actually plastic. Here, Fræbbblarnir, from one of the first gigs. You can see, they were really obnoxious back in those days. They more or less told the establishment to fuck off. Outsiders. They were extremely popular. They were like, the singer looked like Iggy Pop. And the guitar players, this one and this one, the Pollocks, half American, half Iceland. Their dad was from the bass. And you hear me on the right as a roadie. I just smuggling myself on the picture. One gig by the Outsiders. Someone was messing around with his wife. He told him, take a solo, Danny. And he took a solo, and he jumped on the stage, knocked the guy out, and stepped on stage and came right on cue. Pretty good. If you didn't have this, you were kind of like out. And we used to go to like the surplus of the army here and get these. These was the main thing. If you didn't have those, you were nobody. More bands like Þeir and Joni and Taugadildin, and it was a big explosion, and we kind of like overtook a place called Hotel Borg. It was really down the drains back then, even though now it's like a really big thing. And we just took the hippies and threw them out the window, literally. The dress code back then, studs and stuff.
Were there any punk clothing stores here, or was everything DIY?
No, we had to improvise. Nothing was here. This is Björk. She's like 15 or 16 there at Hotel Borg, our main thing. And you could see there immediately that she was gonna go far. This is me.
I know that guy.
That's it. She's called, huh? This is my hand. This is my ex-wife. Probably that's why she's my ex-wife. One film was shown, Rocky Reykjavik. Ragnhildur, she was a singer from a girl called Grýlurnar or the Witches. She was Dina and also one of our band members. So that scene was more or less like that. One of his famous pictures, that's Bubbi Mortens from the group Outsiders. As you can see, he's pretty well off. And he started out like a troubadour guy, but when he made that band, the Outsiders, they were really loud and obnoxious, but people out in the country, they thought they were going to see like Bob Dylan, and then suddenly came this 120 decibel whirlwind and blew people away. It was really funny to see out in the country people with toilet paper sticking out their ears because of the noise, and they were really loud. Here you can see all the people who are coming here, like Nick Cave. When he came here the first time, I went to a great party with him. When he came here the second time, I asked him if he remembered anything about his first visit about Iceland. He said no.
How often do you get punk gigs, like international bands?
Now?
Yeah.
Now it's pretty regular. Back then it was like, once in a blue moon. There were a few blue moons.
Mm-hmm. Bands that you'd like to, since we're talking on the subject, any bands you'd like to see come here that could probably come here from maybe the UK that haven't been here? I would really like to see Becky Pontins. We can talk about that, maybe.
She's a friend.
And I would like to see Discharge also.
Okay.
I did see the Crash when they came here. Most boring experience of my life. Sorry. And I would like to see The Damned. I would like to see your band also.
I wouldn't mind that.
I then like relics from the old days. Good old Sid, huh? That's Björk. Back in the days. This is like when the Sugar Cubes came, and they released their first album that called Birthday or Ammali. I think it sold like 15 copies. But then somebody started to talk about them abroad. Then they got big around here. It's the same old story. Probably the first Icelandic stage dive.
And who's the head boss lady?
Head boss.
Stena.
Say hello. So I want to thank you guys so much for showing everybody at the Punk Lounge around today. This is definitely a must stop if you're a punk rock fan and you're in Iceland.
Yeah, there's no northern lights, no ponies, no 6 feet beautiful blondes with enormous headlights. It's just punk with some smell. There you go.
So thank you for sharing the history of the museum with everybody. This is Rachel +1 with Gunnthor, and we're gonna see you later. Bye. Rachel back. I'm in my hotel in Iceland here, and I ran into someone that I think you guys would be interested in hearing from.
We're here at Reykjavik Lights in Reykjavik with Laurie Driver. He was the original Adverts drummer. Had played in all the classic Adverts material.
Hi guys, hi folks, how you doing? I was born in South London, but I lived in East London and West London. Not in Hillgate, Lambeth Grove. Same area as Lemmy.
You were telling us that you actually went to school with Paul Cook and Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols.
I went to school with Paul Cook and Steve Jones. Me and Steve Jones were in the same class all the way up.
Oh, nice.
So we was about 13 and then we left school.
And you actually saw you were telling us about one of the legendary gigs. It was the Nashville Room, which was, I think it was 1976.
Yeah.
And,
But with the Pistols.
Yeah.
We saw that. I saw that.
That's really
Actually, it was the Pistols that, really wanted to get me going and doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And you were on one of the legendary compilation albums, and I know a lot of bands don't like the performance, but the Live at the Roxy Club record, that's that's a major compilation in the history of punk. There was Johnny Moped, Eater, Slaughter of the Dogs, Wire, you guys, the Adverts.
It's all the original first wave of punk bands, really.
Now, what was it like to play the Roxy? Because now it is a Speedo shop, so they sell bathing suits.
Well, you said you went down it, right? And you see how big it was down there.
Yeah.
Well, that place used to be packed solid.
Uh-huh.
In the beginning it wasn't, there was only a few people. But then suddenly just...
How long till when your initial involvement in the band until the punk scene exploded and it got too big for the local clubs anymore?
Well, we didn't really experience any of that. We did about 9 gigs in the Roxy. Then we went on tour with the Dams. And then we did our own tour. We did a tour with Iggy Pop. And then we did our own mainline tour, and we never came across that.
No.
What was touring with Iggy Pop like?
Well, that's an interesting story there. But I'd rather not say that.
Edit.
What? Look, for fuck's
No,
sake.
ready for
I want to ask you, just because some of these songs here, Gary Gilmore's Eyes been covered by numerous bands, Special Duties, everybody. What do you have there been any Advert songs that have been covered that you particularly are fond of or do you kind of think I did it better or?
Well, Jay Retard did that We Who Waits.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
We Who Wait was one of my favourite songs. The Adverts. And I liked his version.
You guys did some BBC sessions too, right?
Yeah, we did the John Peel show.
How was it? I mean, he's a famous. If it wasn't for John Peel, punk would have never gotten in the hands to most of the people in the British Isles.
But I wouldn't go as far as to say that. But yeah, he had.
He was instrumental in it.
Yeah, he had a big part. He played a big part.
So was he?
He was the only one that would had punk bands coming. Nobody else really was interested in punk bands.
This is you.
Certainly is.
He was.
Just scribbled all on the face.
He did scribble on the face for me, but everybody knows the classic "No Time to Be 21." Advert single. He also played on the Gary Gilmore's Eyes and Quick Step and all that, and Safety in Numbers, and it's probably regarded as one of the punk masterpieces. Would you say that?
Yeah, I guess it's a masterpiece as far as we're concerned.
Crossing the Red Sea with the Adverts, and
Well, getting an album together was akin to crossing the Red Sea, believe me.
so you were telling us that you actually did not know how to play drums really before you joined the band.
I actually bought a drum kit 2 weeks before I joined the band. And I think I bashed on it about 3 times, and they were looking for a drummer in the Adverts, and I was working in the same place. So I just decided to go up there and blag my way in, which I did.
It worked.
It worked, yeah.
So,
And it also worked out for the album, I think.
tell me about doing the record. Like, where was it recorded? I don't remember. It was
Abbey
produced
Road.
by John Leckie. We know that.
It was recorded in Abbey Road Studios.
Oh wow. So, Beatles.
Yeah.
Did you feel special that you were recording in where the Beatles, or did you?
Were you a Beatles fan?
No.
So it was like, let's just get this done. This place will work.
Actually, Paul McCartney turned up with Linda at the time. It was Linda, I think it was Linda, I'm not sure. And they were peeking through the glass window while we were recording it.
You didn't do the crossing the road with the Adverts?
No,
Everybody does that, like,
Zebra crossing.
Yeah.
No.
You'd rather cross the Red Sea.
what was the time frame from I barely ever played drums to I'm in this band and we're recording at Abbey Road?
And you had a major record deal.
But that was, we got the first record deal, the first single, One Called Wonders.
Was it just like, was it pressure? Was it like, I'll figure this out as I go? Was it like, I don't give a fuck, I'm doing what I do? And
Basically, that's what I thought. You know, I enjoyed what I was doing, and everything else was everybody else's problem, more or less.
And you guys did a pretty crazy tour with the Dam you had mentioned earlier. That had some fun stories attached to
You want
it.
to talk about any about that? Any of the gigs that were memorable or anything?
Well, yeah, there was a couple of gigs that are really memorable, but I can't remember which ones they were. But, like I told you earlier on, the story of me dislocating Dave Vanian's shoulder accidentally, and he ended up having to dance around on stage with his arm in a sling. The rest of the band, Damned, were pretty pissed off with me. It was an accident, but he was okay about it. You know?
So you didn't get.
But there was a story that I saw on the internet sometime that.
So we're putting a rumor to rest. So.
Well, the story I read on the internet was that he wanted me to push him down a flight of stairs in this shopping trolley, which was total bullshit.
And your punk name, how did that come about, Laurie Driver?
Well, I used to borrow people's cars without permission. A lot of them. There was one time we stole a pink Rolls Royce.
Whose Rolls Royce was
I
that?
have no idea.
Mark Bolan?
He just got out of the car in Kings Road, Chelsea, with his really beautiful girlfriend and his flash pink Rolls Royce, and he goes into the restaurant, and the restaurant was right there, and we just walked up, and of course there's a spare key in every one of these luxury cars. There's always a spare key. So we knew where those were, the keys were. He got in the car, started up, and he's sitting there with his girlfriend. Suddenly he looks over and he sees us in the car. We went, he was off in his pink car down the King's Road.
So we're in Reykjavik, Iceland. What brings Laurie Driver to Iceland? What do you do here?
Well, a woman brought me here from Amsterdam, because I was living in Amsterdam and I met her. First Icelandic person I ever met. I mean, I was so ignorant about Iceland, I thought they lived in English. No, we don't live in England, she said. And that's how I ended up staying. And now I'm a grandfather.
So I want to thank you, Laurie Driver, for coming to meet up with us, have a little chit chat. It was nice to get you out of the house, and
It was nice to get out of the house.
we know that you're busy. And
Yeah, right.
the people at the Punk Lounge will really love this. So again, this is Rachel Plus One in Reykjavik. Hope you enjoyed the Iceland punk rock little history and scene report and some 77 British punk rock stories with Laurie Driver. We will see you next time. Bye. I wanted to take a quick second now that I'm back in Philly and editing and really thank Laurie Driver for sitting down with us. It's not mentioned in the video, but it's the first time he was interviewed since he was in the Adverts, so it's a lot of stories and his history that hasn't been told. And now going back and listening to those early Adverts recordings, it gives me a better understanding. There was always an urgency and an earnestness to those songs that really spoke to me, and I didn't get to them till they were probably almost 20 years old when I was a teenager in the 90s. But there was something there that other bands didn't have. This honesty, this appeal, this call to action that as a teenager, it just hit a spot that I couldn't even really describe. And now knowing a bit more of Laurie's personal history and how he came about to playing the drums, it all makes sense, and it really gives me a greater understanding and a greater appreciation of those songs. I mean, I thought the new church needed me, and that was a almost 20-year-old record at that point. So I think that freshness holds up, and I think it's still there today for anyone discovering it for the first time. So thanks, Laurie, for sitting down with us. And finally, I just want to recommend to you guys this book. It's called Blue-Eyed Pop, The History of Popular Music in Iceland. It's by Dr. Guni. It starts in the 1800s, goes up to today. Lots of stuff about punk, a lot of the bands that we saw in the museum. It's on Amazon. Unfortunately, it looks like it's out of print, so it's a little bit pricey right now, but worth getting your hands on if you can. There's our friend Gunnthor from Q4U. I had such a fantastic time on this trip. I hope this video whets your appetite a little bit for what's out there in Iceland, and I hope you guys get to go soon and experience it for yourself. Obviously, this just scratches the surface, and there's so much more. The people there are amazing, the country is beautiful, and it's such a vibrant music scene. So I hope you guys had as much fun watching this as we did making it. And for Rachel Plus One, until my next adventure on the Punk Lounge, I will see you next time.